Why do I miss someone who was never really mine? Why do I miss someone who was never really mine? That's the question that keeps me up at night. The one that makes no sense to anyone I try to explain it to. We were never together, not really, never official, never exclusive, never anything that had a name, but it felt like something. It felt like everything, at least to me. Late night texts that went on for hours, inside jokes that made me feel special, moments that felt like we were building something, but we weren't. We were just existing in the space between friendship and love. The space where hope lives and dies. I think they call it a situationship now. That ugly word for an ugly feeling. For the thing that's almost love but not quite. For the thing that hurts like love but isn't allowed to be called love. I should have known better. I should have seen the signs, the way they never made plans in advance. The way they only texted when they were bored. The way they went quiet whenever I got too close. But I ignored the signs. I made excuses. I told myself they were just scared, just not ready, just needed time. I told myself that what we had was special, that they felt it too, that eventually they'd realize what we could be. But they never did. They never felt it. Or maybe they did, and just didn't want it. Either way, it doesn't matter. What matters is I'm sitting here missing someone who was never mine. Grieving something that never existed, at least not the way I thought it did. In my head, we were building something. In their head, we were just having fun. In my head, we had a future. In their head, we had Tuesday nights. And that's the part that hurts the most. Not that they left, but that they were never really there. I was in love with a ghost, with potential, with what could have been. With someone who existed only in my imagination. The real them never promised me anything, never said they loved me, never said we were together, never said we were exclusive. But somehow I felt like they did. I felt like we were. I felt like it meant something. And maybe it did mean something, just not what I thought it meant. Maybe it meant good conversation. Maybe it meant someone to pass time with. Maybe it meant attention when they needed it, but not love, never love, not the way I felt it. And now they're gone, not dramatically, not with a fight, not with an explanation. They just faded, like they were never there, like we never happened. And I'm left with all these feelings for someone who was never really mine. All these memories of moments that meant everything to me and nothing to them. All this love with nowhere to go. All this grief for something that never existed. People don't understand when I try to explain it. They say you weren't even together. They say you barely knew them. They say just move on. But they don't understand that you can miss what never was. You can grieve what might have been. You can love someone who was never yours. And it hurts just as much as losing someone who was. Maybe more. Because there's no closure. No clear ending, no reason to point to and say that's why it ended. It just wasn't. It just never became what I thought it would. And I'm angry at them for leading me on, angry at myself for reading too much into it, angry at the whole situation for being so confusing. But mostly, I'm just sad. Sad that it's over. Sad that it never really started. Sad that I wasted so much time and energy and hope on something that was never real. I keep checking my phone, hoping for a text that never comes. I keep thinking about what I'd say if they reached out, how I'd play it cool, how I'd act like I'm over it. But I'm not over it. I'm not over them. I'm not over us. Even though there was no us. And that's what makes it so hard to explain. How do you get over someone you never had? How do you miss someone who was never yours? I don't know, but I do. I miss them. I miss what we had. I miss what we could have had. I miss the version of them that existed in my head. And I hate that I miss them. I hate that they still take up space in my thoughts. I hate that I gave them so much power over my feelings. I hate that I'm still waiting for them to come back, even though they were never really here. But I'm trying. I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to let go of what never was. I'm trying to stop checking my phone. I'm trying to stop making up stories about what they're doing. I'm trying to remember that someone who wants to be with me won't make me guess, won't leave me hanging, won't disappear without explanation. Someone who wants me will show up, will make plans, will be clear about what they want. And until I find that person, I need to stop settling for almosts. Stop accepting breadcrumbs when I deserve the whole meal. I need to stop falling for potential instead of reality. Stop loving the idea of someone instead of who they actually are. It's gonna take time, it's going to be hard, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to try to stop missing someone who was never mine. I'm gonna try to save my love for someone who wants it. Someone who won't make me question if what we have is real. Someone who won't leave me wondering where I stand. Someone who will be mine and let me be theirs. Until then, I'll keep working on loving myself the way I loved them, completely, without question, without hesitation. I'll keep reminding myself that I deserve better than almost. I deserve better than maybe. I deserve better than someday. I deserve someone who chooses me every day. Someone who doesn't make me feel like I'm asking for too much. Someone who sees what I have to offer and doesn't take it for granted. Why do I miss someone who was never really mine? I don't know, but I'm working on not missing them anymore. I'm working on letting go of what never was, and maybe someday I'll find someone who will be mine, really mine, and I'll understand the difference. Maybe someday I'll stop asking why I miss them and start asking why I settled for so little. Maybe someday I'll be grateful that they left because it made room for someone who will stay. Maybe someday this will all make sense. Until then, I'm just trying to be okay with not knowing, with not understanding, with missing someone who was never really mine. And that's okay. That's human. That's life. Sometimes we love people who don't love us back. Sometimes we miss people who were never ours. Sometimes we grieve things that never existed. And that's okay. It doesn't make us weak or stupid. It makes us human. And maybe that's enough.